Hey, welcome to the Jerzy GOAT Spot. I'm Nurse, and I want to say thank you for joining me and welcome. Today is our first episode. We're going to sit down with the legendary Ken. He's going to share his 5 syringe suggestions for aspiring engineers and radio hosts. So you don't want to miss this. Thank you again for joining. Come on in. Let's get it.
Dynasty, you so wavy.
From the guard stage, where the stars shine bright, the home of talent, winning day and night, hearing from our legends, whose voices ring bells, the Jerzy GOAT Spot, hear the stories they tell. Start off by thanking this incredible man for the opportunity of being my first guest on the Jerzy GOAT Spot. We definitely have a New Jersey GOAT in the building here. Let me get on just some of the background and some of the accomplishments that you've made as a New Jersey native and engineer. Absolutely icon. I think this is long overdue. Most of our most influential GOATs are usually behind the scenes, making some of our most mega stars pop. And I definitely consider you one of them, Ken. Undoubtedly, you work with some of the most powerful artists to date. And it's especially key because you haven't been, as far as I know, as a major record label. You kind of started from the ground roots and just build your empire. And you're definitely a New Jersey native. You built your name through numerous recordings and engineerings with some of the most respected recording artists of the world. You began your craft at an audio school in New York. You were the first Black American assistant engineer at the world's most successful recording studio at all times, Unique Recording. And then you became a freelance audio engineer in the tri-state area, building projects. You opened up the very infamous and famous Perfect Pair that I had an opportunity to visit long ago in East Orange, where you created some of the most hottest tracks to date, from house music to R&B, hip hop. Perfect Pair was your dynasty there, and you actually, from what I understand, did the first Pro Tools full system use in the country for a track. One of my favorite tracks with 3LW, No More. You use auto-tune in that track, and auto-tune, as you know, has exploded and still going on strong today. So thank you for that. You've been an owner of a house music record label and management company, and you engineered just some of the platinum artists that I can name. There's many more, but we got Shaka Khan, Bilal, Changing Faces, Chubb Rock, 3LW, Queen La, Tifa, Naughty by Nature, Coffee Brown, Escape, and Groove Theory. All of these groups and artists, I can testify that had some of the biggest tracks out. You actually engineered and recorded on one of the biggest selling award-winning albums of all time, Certified Diamond, 5 Grammy Award-winning, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. You was on a couple of projects on that, where you recorded I Used to Love Him and the very dynamic track To Zion. I mean, this is incredible stuff, Ken. I mean, you currently reside in Vegas, where you teach at a local college some of your techniques as some recording techniques, and you also host and produce a weekly radio mix show called Top of the Night Mix Show, with your brand of 488 Records, and that's on WKZP 107.9 FM out in Portland. So my man, you oh man, you are it's absolutely a blessing to have you be my first guest, because I believe that some young people from New Jersey, that's what this is all about, is kind of passing the baton and trying to give some key positive influence to our New Jersey youth and other viewers of mine. And here you are. Thank you again for joining us here. As you know, we have the 5 syringes of suggestions that you would give to any young people or anyone aspiring to be a recording artist, more importantly, an engineer, a radio host, having your own record label. So many people are trying to start off in that area. And as you know, things are very different from before to now. Some things have been the same, but it's really difficult. It's a very different world from what I understand from what it used to be. And right now we would just like to know if you could offer your 5 syringe suggestions of what someone can take away with how to be successful today in your field. Welcome again.
Thank you. Crazy introduction. Thank you.
Well, you know what? every bit of it is earned. And like I said, I mean, I believe in giving flowers, working behind the scenes as you have, and some of the most powerful creations that we know. I mean, it's only suitable that you're recognized, and I'm sure that list goes on and on and on. I just took a smidgen of what you've done, so thank you for your humbleness. As far as let's say when it comes down to owning a record label or being a producer engineer, what would you say you could offer as suggestions for our young people today or anyone aspiring?
Um, Depends on what you want to do. If it's so easy to own a recording studio nowadays, you know,
Mm-hmm.
software is creating the studios that we had back in the day. So it's creating the consoles, it's creating all the outboard gear, all the keyboards, everything. So you can have a $1,000, $2,000 laptop and have, you know, $1,000 worth of software, and you'd have a $500,000 recording studio right in your laptop. So that's the cool thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, it's a microphone and an interface, and you can make your own records and some speakers, maybe, you know, minor stuff. So, and you can make your own records. So that's the one thing, and it's a serious, you know, how can I say this? Let's say let's say you spend like 3, 4, 5,000 on a studio, a really nice studio at $5,000, but you spend that, you do it for a couple of years, you don't like it, but you can sell all that stuff for probably 50 cents on a dollar. So it's a great investment. It's a great investment, you know, but it's just about your work. Your work will speak for you, and the better you are, the more clients you'll have, and the more
Mm-hmm.
that will come to you without even advertising. So
Mm.
that's what I like about it, you know. Like I never really
Okay.
advertised. I was always word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, back then you had to buy all that individual gear, and I had racks and racks of gear, and it was 3,000, 5,000 a piece, 2,000,
Yeah.
so forth and so on. And it wasn't like you could spend $29 on a plugin, you know. So
Right.
it
Yeah,
was very expensive back then.
times have definitely changed. Yeah, the whole ADATs, and I
Yeah,
remember coming into the studios of yesteryear, and I mean,
right.
it was a whole room of, like you said, very extensive
Yeah.
equipment,
Mhm.
and here we are now with just clicks of buttons and apps. So
Right.
I think they have an advantage now than what you didn't have
Oh,
back then.
totally. We didn't have any social media, so if you wanted to learn about new gear, you'd have to um, read about it in magazines. That was the best way to get your knowledge, reading about it in a magazine, you know.
Right.
When I first started, like Sam Ash and all those stores did not sell professional recording studio gear.
Mm.
So I had to go to brokers and stuff like that to get all my gear, you know. So
Cool.
it was a whole nother world, you know.
All right. Well, I guess we could
My
say.
Pro Tools rig, and I was the first audio recording studio to have Pro Tools. And I'm not doing this to brag or anything. I'm just doing this so you understand how good it is today for people. That was like 40 grand for my Pro Tools setup.
Oh my God.
But now, as a student, like I teach Pro Tools, a student can get it for $10 a month,
Mm.
$99 a year. So that's the difference of, plus they have to have their own computer, but that's the difference of what we spent back then, you know?
Okay.
But,
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm hearing that basically you just need to get the equipment necessary, and establish your brand and establish your name, utilizing the technology and social media that we have today, making it so much easier.
yes, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
One thing I like to say to build your skill set up, just like in social media, you know, people spend hours and hours and hours and hours trying to get their projects to go. And a lot are successful. Let's say you're a content creator, like you're doing right now. You started and you're doing very, very good. I love your content, but that takes a lot of work, you know?
Thank you, sir.
I just want to say, like, as an audio engineer or a recording studio, you have to practice, you know? It's not a microwave situation where you go in there and you just could push a button and everything happens. No, you have to. I've been doing this since 1979. So you have to practice. You have to really, really go in there and do. It's not hard either. It's just doing reps. How do I make a song? Make it 30 times. That's what I tell them. Make it 30 times. Now you know how to make a song. How do I make a track? Go ahead and make a track 30 times. Make a MIDI track 30 times. And hook up the piano. Make it play 30 times. Do that 4 times a week. Just like, you know, if you think like LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or somebody just went on the court and just started throwing up threes and stuff. No, you hear the stories. He was there 3, 4 hours before the game.
Right.
Ron used to ride a bike 10 miles to a game before he started. So just being that much in shape, going there early, throwing up that many shots, even now today,
Yes.
those 2-3 hours worth of shots. So it's not hard to know how to do a shot. It's just hard to practice it and do it over and 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 over again. So that's what I think people miss when it comes to being great engineers. You have to do it over and over and over again and keep on doing it. So that when you're in a session and somebody says, can you make, 3-4 tracks? And you go there, you're like, this is you on the keyboard. I mean, did you want to, can you imagine, like, you kill rap. You go in the session and somebody doing this. How's your faith going to be? And that person is going to be garbage, right?
Right.
But you go in there and you say, I need to make, 10 tracks vocals, and I need, and the person goes, done. And that person that can do that, it's like Kyrie can go up in there and spin and do all this stuff and make a bucket. That person that can do this on a keyboard, computer keyboard, and get all that stuff done in 3 seconds is going to get the gig. Because he understands what you're doing. He's practiced at it. He's good at it. And when he gives the session to other engineers, it's color coded, it's named properly. Everything is there. And then people will start. Maybe I want to. I know I'm going kind of off script, but maybe I'm an engineer and I'm good at what I do and I do everything right. And then I can't make a session, and this person needs a session really bad. I've gotten 10 sessions from you and they were all perfect. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, hey, go to Joe. He's really good. Take care of you. Just tell him I sent you, whatever, and he's going to take care of you. And that's how it works, and that's when you start getting your name that way from your work.
Okay. So you get your work out there and you practice. I'm hearing, another syringe suggestion is practice.
Right.
Okay. And build up.
Everybody's going to get their chance. You could be 40. Look at how old was the cat that just got all the Grammys, 45 or something? Or they just got.
Oh, yeah. At the Grammy Awards. Yeah.
You're going to get your shot at some point. Are you ready when you get the shot? That's the question,
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, there's a lot of artists who are a little up there in age, not in their 20s and 30s anymore, who are still talented and not giving up. So thank you for that encouragement for some viewers who need to hear that. Well, let me ask you this: as far as another syringe question is, you landed again some of the most iconic artists out to date. How can someone just starting off aspire or obtain artists like that? Is it a miracle? Is it networking? Is it being at the right place at the right time?
It's a little bit of all of that, but it's mainly your setup has to be a little bit different than everybody else. Like my setup, you can come in back then. My setup, you can come in and find any piece of outboard gear, any keyboard, any drum machine. I had like 5 MP3s, I had every sampler, so that when a person came to my studio, they didn't have to bring their equipment. All they had to bring was their sounds. That was kind of and then when people walked into my studio, it was wow with all the equipment. So that's kind of made my situation. And then when they got the recordings were done right. They sounded good and all that good stuff. So that's kind of where, and I was local. I was local to a lot of New Jersey acts as opposed to being they had to go over to New York and so forth.
Right. You just happen to be at that right spot of all those talented artists.
Yeah, definitely. So when they make a track, when they make their studio or their environment, it just has to be really cool that people feel comfortable, you get warm welcomes and, you show them that you want them and that you do anything to help to make their project, go. And eventually everybody's a cousin to somebody.
Right.
My cousin is XXX. Yeah, just bring them through,
Yes.
He likes the situation. He likes what you're doing. And so you can get a lot of work that way.
That's a good point.
Most big artists have their own studios nowadays, but they still like to go other places every now and then for different inspiration. So
right,
and inspiration is good. You'll still get a bunch of business,
Yeah, well, I think you would agree New Jersey is just that hub. A lot of the artists that I didn't even name that you work with all came from that Essex County, Newark, Brick City. And it was just like I would have to say, you probably engineered and recorded with the most artists in one studio. That's just. I think so. Yeah. I think so. So
that time period. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And thank you again for that work. What would you say? as maybe a final syringe suggestion of somebody who wants to get into, I believe you're a radio host. That's something, up and coming also, but then, social media kind of squeezing out radio, what would you say to someone in between who wants to still do radio?
Right. I'm just, keep it real, I'm just starting the hosting, but I've been producing a radio show for like going on 2 years. So
Okay.
So I use Pro Tools and I line everything up and I make it sound like it's live and so forth and so on. But it's really cool. You got to find, you go to your, station. There's a big thing out here. Actually, I'm sorry, I forget the name of it, where all the stations from all over come. Like go to those type of conventions and stuff like that that'll put you in front of radio people. If you're, that's a network thing. You gotta send your the way your voice sounds and the stuff you do to people. Maybe they need somebody. Like I needed somebody for like 6 months, and I found an old friend of mine from East Orange, and she's amazing. And I put her in a situation, and it just started taking off again. But so
nice.
I had somebody else reach me before me and her hooked up. I probably would have used that person, So it's just about being in the right place at the right time and
right.
And then the internet radio stuff is cool, but if you can get on some maybe FM or Sirius XM, something like that, that would be even better.
That's right.
You get a better credential behind that, So
yes.
And
that's a good point about
college radio is a good place to start. That's
another one.
Yeah.
That's another one. Absolutely. Sirius college radio, all these different, dimensions of radio. And like you said, you can even mix and match and throw it in with, content creating. And, it's just a beautiful time right now.
Definitely. We can do it all ourselves, right?
Yes. But I definitely want to
say one last thing. Imagine back like when I had my studio, let's say you wanted to record a song, you would have to, first you had to buy a 2-inch tape. Now it's like $385, and you get 3 songs on that. That's 24 tracks. If you wanted to do 48 tracks, you had to buy 2. So let's start there and say you had close to $800 before you walked in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to have musicians, because there wasn't no MIDI and all that stuff in the beginning. MIDI started coming a little bit later, but you'd have to have either that, or you'd have to have equipment that you played on or something like that. But you would have to have a bunch of stuff to get a song done, and it took hours. It took hours. So you'd have to. Your studio could be $100 an hour, $200 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever it could be. You'd have to spend all this time. So to make a song was really an investment. But nowadays, you get your computer, you get your software, you can do it all night, you can practice it, you can mix it 5,000 times. It's not going to cost you anything extra, So it's really, really good time to start making product. You could put it out for free. Before you had to get a record label, or you had to pay an expensive amount of money to get somebody to distribute your record if nobody picked you up.
Right.
You had to press, 1,000 records back then probably cost you $2,000 maybe. So something like that. Wow. It's just so much money you had to spend, where now you can make it, put it out for free.
Yes.
And just work on promoting it, So it's a great time. And you can put out 100 records, your name, you can have 5 different names for you as an artist,
That's right.
It could be the same one. Maybe you like to do country rap, then you do it with country rap name. Then you have to do, boom bap rap. You have to have that type of name, whatever. You have to have all these different types of names. You could put out 6 different projects and it's just you. So
it's incredible.
You don't know what's going to hit. So
no, you don't.
Have fun with it. Put out a bunch of stuff and, promote it the best you can to see if anything clicks,
Well, one thing we could definitely say, sir, again, thank you, because you are a pioneer, not just a New Jersey GOAT, but it's beyond that. I mean, you did the most with the least, and then the most with the most, and then still, everything that you've done is etched in sand, it's etched in earth. All of your creativity, all your determination. I really do hope that some young person out there looks to you and they can. I mean, you got the receipts. You can just go in there and find those hits. It's just like a library, But I really do thank you for your time, and I hope that this encourages some of our young people and us not so young people to get out there and take advantage of the time. But I thank you again, Ken Thompson.
I thank you for even coming up with the idea, and then to help young kids and young people, understand and get to meet other people, So definitely, I mean, you're doing a big thing,
I appreciate that. That is, I'm very humbled by that. Thank you so much, sir. I want to thank you again for joining me at the Jersey Goat Spot. And blessings to you. And I'm going to be watching you because you're still out there doing the most. So I see you as very encouraging for artists like myself, a content creator. Thank you, sir, and bless you.
Thank you so much, and I hope your day's going well, and that we can do this again some other time. It'd be great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And get more people to listen to your show, and let's all support and make it happen.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Much.
Thank you.
Thanks, dear. You're so wavy.
I am the nurse!